When he changes around you, the silent signs of hidden love. There are moments in life when you don't need a confession, a love letter, or a grand gesture to know that someone has started falling for you. Sometimes, love doesn't scream, it whispers. And if you're quiet enough inside, if you observe closely, you'll notice how everything about him starts to shift when you're near. This is the story of Maya, a woman who wasn't searching for love, but found herself in the middle of it, quietly. It all began at a local community workshop, something simple, a weekend series on creativity and self-growth. Maya had joined it to break the monotony of her routine, to learn something new, and maybe meet people who thought a little deeper about life. She didn't know she'd meet someone who thought deeper about her. His name was Ion. He wasn't flashy. He didn't have the kind of presence that turned heads when he walked into a room, but he had something else. He had energy. And it changed when Maya was around. The first time she noticed, it was his voice. In group conversations, he was usually expressive, quick-witted, and confident. But around her, his tone lowered. It became softer, deeper, slower, as though each word carried weight. It wasn't an act. It was like his body instinctively adjusted to her frequency. And that wasn't something he did for anyone else. He never looked nervous. But he looked focused, as if every word she said mattered more than anything else being spoken in the room. She started paying attention. She started noticing the subtle shifts. When she walked into the room, he always straightened his back. He fixed his sleeves, smoothed his shirt, ran his hand through his hair once, maybe twice. It was like his subconscious was preparing him for a quiet performance he didn't even know he was putting on. But Maya noticed. Because when men are indifferent, they stay the same. But when a man feels something, everything changes, especially around the woman who makes his heart feel vulnerable. Then came the mirroring. She crossed her arms. Ion did the same without thinking. She leaned in during a discussion, he leaned in too, just as close. When she laughed, he smiled a beat longer than necessary, not because he was being polite, but because her joy was magnetic to him. He wanted to stay in that moment. The mirroring wasn't dramatic. It was subconscious. But it was real. And then, there were the tiny moments of protection. Once, during a crowded breakout activity, she almost tripped over an uneven step. Before she could balance herself, his hand was already on her elbow, steadying her, not possessively, but protectively. Another time, she couldn't find her water bottle, and he casually pulled out an extra one from his bag. "You looked thirsty," he said simply. That line stayed with her, not because of what he said, but because he noticed. Men don't protect what they don't value. And they definitely don't notice tiny discomforts in people they're not emotionally tuned into. But what truly startled Maya was how Ion became emotionally vulnerable, just with her. One evening after the workshop, they ended up walking out together. It was cold. She was rubbing her palms together when he casually offered her his hoodie. But more than that, he opened up. "I used to write a lot," he said quietly. "Poetry, actually. I stopped for a while. Life happened. I forgot what it felt like to create something just for myself." He paused, then added, "But after meeting people here, and talking to you, I feel like maybe I should try again." It wasn't just about poetry. It was about something in her that made him feel safe. inspired, awake. That was the night Maya truly realized he was changing. Not drastically, not dramatically, but profoundly. You see, when a man is drawn to a woman on a soul level, he begins to reveal parts of himself he didn't even know were hidden. He begins to act differently, because her presence activates something in him, his instincts, his emotions, his desire to show up better. And no matter how subtle those changes may be, they are never accidental. If he softens his voice when he speaks to you, fixes his appearance when you arrive, mirrors your body language without realizing it, finds ways to be closer to you in groups, protects you in the smallest of ways, touches his face or neck more than usual, those nervous signs, or even opens up emotionally when he rarely does with anyone else, then you're not imagining it. You're witnessing transformation. You're witnessing a heart slowly exposing itself, not through words, but through shifts. Because real attraction isn't loud. It's not always confident. Sometimes it's awkward. Sometimes it shows up as fidgeting hands, a sudden silence in the middle of a laugh, or the way he glances at you when he thinks you're not looking. That's how it happened with Maya and Ayan. They didn't rush into anything. There were no instant declarations. But every week, he kept showing up differently. More present. More tuned in. More open. And she noticed. Because she knew the difference between a man who's polite and a man who's changing. So the next time you're around someone and something feels different, trust your intuition. The whispers of your soul are often more accurate than the shouts of logic. A man may never say the words out loud. But if he's changing around you, he's feeling something for you. Not just interest. Not just attraction. But something more real, something emotional. Pay attention. The signs are already there. Thank you for spending this time with us. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Don't Give Up. Let's continue exploring life's challenges and insights together.